Good morning, people. How are you doing on this Thursday morning? Closing into the end of the work week. Hopefully, you guys have had a pretty decent week this week. This is going to be an update on the Erica Thomas and Eric Spicer hoax. I guess it was going on. You'd call it a hoax, disagreement, whatever you want to call it. That's what we're going to be covering today. Alrighty, let's get into it. So last weekend, Georgia lawmaker filed a police report saying that Eric Sparks basically told her to go back to her country, and while she was holding a press conference, this individual here confronted her, says, I didn't say that, I didn't tell you to go back to your country or anything like that. Erica Thomas was like, yeah, you did, and you're white. And then it turns out that this guy is Cuban, which I covered in like my last video. So this thing blew up, and everybody's labeling this like the Jussie Smollett 2.0. I wouldn't call it 2.0. Maybe 1.1 or something, because just because she got busted pretty quickly when he interrupted her interview. But this is saying criminal charges will not be filed against Georgia man accused of verbally abusing a state lawmaker for bringing too many items into an express checkout lane at the Mapleton Publix. And she goes in saying she took to Twitter, Facebook Live to accuse a white man of verbally abusing her, calling her lazy son of a, beep, and to go back where she came from. That incident came, after all that stuff that was going on with Donald Trump telling far left Democrat congresswoman they should go back and fix their own countries. Thomas appeared to walk back some of the more inflammatory claims. So, let's read the police report. Both parties have been advised there will be no charges made by Cobb County Police Department. Both were provided information on how to contact Cobb County Magistrate's Office if they wish to pursue further criminal action. Here's part of the police report here. In it, a responding officer writes that Thomas said Sparks had approached her in an aggressive, irate manner that made her fearful for her safety and the safety of her juvenile daughter. Let's see, right here we go. On July 19th, 2019, 1800 hours is notified to contact State Representative Eric Thomas regarding an incident that occurred at Publix, Veterans Memorial Highway at, looks like 1940 hours or 7:40. He contacted Miss Thomas via phone. She told me on this date at 16:30 while checking out Express Lane Publix, Eric Sparks approached her in an aggressive, irate manner because she had more than 10 items in Express Lane. Miss Thomas stated Sparks' aggression made her feel fearful for safety and the safety of her juvenile daughter. Interviewed witnesses, viewed the video, and collected video evidence. The next day, I interviewed another witness. Mr. Sparks denied approaching Miss Thomas in an aggressive manner. This case is pending further investigation. And this is what she says. He ran up on me with a clenched fist in a manner that made me fearful for the safety of myself and my daughter. He began complaining about her having more than 10 items in the express lane. She told him that she was 9 months pregnant, couldn't stand for long. The part I don't get with this is she said she couldn't stand for long, but she could stand long enough to give like a 15-minute interview on that So that's kind of weird that you can't stand for long, but you can stand for 15 minutes to give an interview. Um, she said Mr. Sparks then interrupted her, told her, you're a lazy son of a, B, and you people are ignorant and should go back to where you came from, you piece of S. Miss Thomas said at this point she began telling Mr. Sparks to leave me alone several times as she looked for assistance from a security or Publix employee. After telling Mr. Sparks to leave her alone about 10 minutes, customer service management Sharonda Merrill approached him and told Mr. Sparks to leave. He finally left the store once the customer service manager got involved. She continued to tell the police officer initially she thought Mr. Sparks was joking, but quickly realized he was visibly angry and very irate. He continuously approached her, ran up upon her with clenched hands and pointing at her, putting her in fear for her safety, for herself and her daughter. She said she was initially afraid to leave the store, worried Mr. Sparks would be waiting for her outside. After waiting a few minutes, she and her daughter did leave. She said she went home to calm down and then called Deputy Chief Hamilton. Miss Thomas was adamant about her about identifying a subject and pursuing criminal charges against the suspect for assaulting third-degree child cruelty. Police also spoke with store management. Witnesses reviewed video surveillance that Mr. Sparks could not be seen with clenched fist in hand in the video. Man, she just went all out trying to play this out, didn't she? I don't know, man. So let's see. First video clip. The police officer observed as he was checking out several registers down from Express Lane. He paid for his items, which the guy already said. Second clip showed Sparks walked to the first set of exit doors where he stopped, began speaking with Miss Merrill, who was standing at the exit. Video does not have audio, which is a shame. I wish this did. That would be awesome if this thing had freaking audio so you could actually see what was going on. Miro, he then departs the inner doors, leaves the frame of the video. A few seconds later, Mr. Sparks returns through the door and goes straight to the Express Lane where Miss Thomas and her daughter were at. Points at the entrance of the Express Lane, possibly at a sign. Clearly beginning to argue with, began arguing. Let's see, Mr. Sparks appears to be irate. Did not appear to be irate, nor did I see him with clenched hands in the video. He initially did enter Miss Thompson's personal space, but backed as Miss Thomas moved forward. Man, I'm having a hard time this morning. Sorry, guys. Backed up as Miss Thomas moved forward around the counter toward Mr. Sparks, pointing a finger at him. Miss Thomas advanced towards Sparks a second time, at which point Miss Bureau comes into frame and waits for Mr. Sparks to leave, which he did. Simultaneously, Miss Thomas returned to the register, stated something to her daughter, and then paid for her items. Observed Miss Thomas' daughter smiling shortly after. This confrontation lasted approximately 45 seconds. Wow! Oh my God, she said like 10 minutes? And then it turns out to be 45 seconds? Are you kidding me? Man, she's just trying to suck the life out of this, isn't she? She was just, this reminds me of, maybe a football game or something where you get a kickoff and guys in his own end zone and he runs this thing all the way back, the 20, the 10, the 5, gets down to 1, gets tackled, and then there's a flag on the play, and she just gets basically backed all the way up to the freaking 1 yard line of her own 1 yard line. Oh my God, she just freaking tried to pull out all the stops, didn't she? Wow. Oh my God. Let's see. Wow. Mr. Sparks told me he stopped at Publix to pick up 3 items to purchase. He approached the express lane. Noticed Miss Sparks was offloading more than 10 items. Said that it bothered him, but he didn't say anything. Steady went a few lines down, checked out. As he was leaving, he noticed Miss Thompson was still in the express lane. He observed customer service manager Miss Merle at the exit. Stopped to ask her if there was anything she could do about people with more than 10 items utilizing the express lane. Miss Merle advised him it was against store policy to refuse service to anyone at the express lane, regardless of the number of items they have. Then why have an express lane? That doesn't make any sense to me. If you have an express lane, you should be able to say, hey, look, you got more than, 10, 15 items, you can't use this unless, directed to say, like if everything else is busy and they're like, yeah, you only have a couple extra items, go ahead. But wow, that's weird to me. He said also inform him that they cannot stop other customers from saying anything to customers who exceed the limit of the express line. Sparks said he began to leave, decided to say something to Miss Thomas. He approached Miss Thomas very politely and told her, ma'am, not to be rude, but the line you are in is for 10 items or less. He pointed out at the sign to her and said expected an apology or a simple, it won't happen again, but instead she blew up, becoming very angry and began angrily approaching him as stating she was 9 months pregnant and that it was none of his business. At the time, he backed up to maintain his distance. Sounds like she's being pretty aggressive. Man, I wish they'd released a video to that. That'd be awesome to actually see this confrontation to go down. Sparks said, told her it didn't matter that she was pregnant and that if it was his business, it's everyone's business. Also told her she was being selfish and he did not remember exactly what was said after that, but he does remember her telling him to go back where you came from. Oh wow. So she pulled the line. Oh my God. She tried saying that he told her to go back where you came from, and she's actually telling him to go back where he came from. I mean, did she know he was Cuban, or was she just trying to, say go back to your line, go back to your house, or what? Oh my God. Multiple times as she was advancing on him, pointing her finger at him. Sparks admitted calling Miss Thomas a lazy beep, which he regrets saying. He said also he also called her ignorant, but never did he say your people are ignorant. Oh, wow. As Miss Thomas has stated to the media, I collected Mr. Sparks' information and left the area. Ooh. Wow. Man, she just went all out, didn't she? Oh my God. I mean, oh boy, shouldn't have did that, in my opinion, but wow. She tried to turn this all on him, and if he wouldn't have said anything, holy cow. Store's customer service manager told police she heard Miss Thomas continuously tell Mr. Sparks to go back where you came from, according to the police report. A second employee, cashier named Derek Tompkins, was asked whether Miss Sparks told Mr. Thomas to go back to where she came from. He said he hadn't heard that. I'm not going to say that it wasn't said. He could see, but I don't remember hearing it. I'm going to leave it at that. Oh, wow. Wow. Man, she just went like all out on this. Wow. She just had no shame, and then to post all that stuff on Facebook Live to try to make it out seem that she was a victim. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still think Mr. Sparks was in the wrong, really. I mean, I don't know. It seems like you have. I don't want to lump all Democrats into this, just like I won't lump all Republicans into one category. But this, what do you guys think? This is kind of a sign of like the far left on Democrats trying to eat each other. I mean, you got her trying to play the victim card, and this guy here trying to be the righteous crusader at a grocery store for the express line. And they just, I don't know, they just kind of exploded. Man, I mean, you got her trying to use, the identity politics and, saying that this guy was, telling her to leave and da 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 da. You got this guy trying to say that she's entitled. Man, I don't know. What is this? What's this country coming to? And oh man, I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? You think that this puts more perspective in light, not actually how bad she made this situation for people? I mean, I just can't believe I don't know. Looks like to me she all out lied big time. All right, guys. This will do this for this update. Let me know what you think. Also, if you want me to, what stories you'd like me to, kind of look at and go over. Thank you for watching the video, and you all have a fantastic day.